This podcast is brought to you by learnmycraft.com. Now, we've all experienced the frustration of not having enough time to practice your art. So whether you're a total beginner or an experienced artist, Learn My Craft has got you covered. With easy to follow tutorials using coloured pencils and pan pastels, you can level up your animal art skills today in as little as 45 minutes. Make practice fun and easy again at learnmycraft.com. Welcome to the Animal Art Podcast. On the show today, I'm joined by Annalise Lawn. Annalise is a talented watercolour artist from Melbourne, Australia. She creates custom pet portraits as well as a wide range of gifts and prints featuring her work. In this episode, we discuss techniques that go into creating lifelike fur textures, balancing commission work with personal projects, and building an art business from scratch. Plus, why using premium materials can actually save you time. As we talked, we both drew a cat's eye, which is exercise number 50 from the Practice Journal Pet Portrait Edition. This is all coming up in the show today, so get your materials ready if you're drawing along at home, and let's go. So please tell me a bit about yourself and how you got started as an animal painting artist, and tell me a bit about your medium as well.
So my name is Annalise. I'm based in Australia, so this is really fun having two different time zones. I started painting pets during a lockdown, so good old COVID lockdown. I think I'm not sure what happened in the UK, but we had about a couple of years of lockdown, and it felt like it.
Yeah.
It was just hectic, and everyone loved their pets, and my neighbour down the street were doing a paint off. So she was doing watercolour houses and putting them in people's letterboxes, and we've got a lot of pets in our street, so I thought I'm going to just paint pets. Oops, just bumped my camera. So I just started to paint people's pets for fun, and then my sister suggested I start up an Instagram account. I was like, okay, well, I'll do that, and then kept on posting, and now it's my full-time job, just like you. It's
That's wonderful.
honestly so fun.
So what did you used to do before?
I have a Bachelor of Food and Nutrition Science, which I never used, which is always fun. And then these days I paint. I now do event managing, so I run some markets in my area. And then run my own market stall selling cute cards and all of that, which, yeah, it's amazing how going into uni thinking one thing and then coming out and doing something completely different.
Yeah. Yes, I wanted to ask you, why watercolor?
I don't know. That's my simple thing. I don't know. My mum's an art teacher, so I've had art around me, and we got the beautiful Kohinoor palettes, which these are the original ones that I started painting pets with. And then I love the flow. I love the ability to build, which I guess you get from pencil. And I see a lot of people doing pencil, so I thought, why not watercolor?
Yes, definitely. I find watercolor impossible. I can't get my head around it. So I'm just so interested to understand your process and what you do. So, like, what are you doing right now?
Right now, this is a huge eye compared to what I normally paint. I keep on bumping my camera. This is fun. I with eyes, normally I start with like the base color, which I can see that you'll be doing with the pastels. So like making sure, because the eyes are so much different for the fur, where fur I just paint literally each hair one by one.
Without a base
eyes,
layer.
without a base layer. So I'll quickly colour this show. So like that's one that I've been working on.
Oh, it's
No base
beautiful.
layer,
Mm-hmm.
just each hair one by one, driving me mental, but I would not do anything else. Like,
Yes.
I love that. Like sometimes I'm guessing you get the point where when you do a portrait, you're like, oh, it's going through the ugly stage. I need to start over, and then you push through it, and you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
goodbye.
I feel like you'd get that a lot with watercolor.
Especially like you guys have rubbers, so
Mm-hmm.
I can sort of use rubbers. I've had to use it a couple of like the rubbing out technique when
Mm-hmm.
my cat decided to join in a watercolor portrait.
Oh no.
He was tiny and he decided that he wanted to get in. I'd freshly made some paint for myself and he'd
Mm-hmm.
stepped in it, and it's a beautiful red pigment which I might actually use. Like a burnt umber, and he just decided
Right.
to step all over the portrait.
Oh no. In red.
In red. Oh, it killed
Did you have to
me.
start again?
I was able to. There's this technique where you just like flood it with water,
Right.
and then you can lift it with Q-tips, which
Really? Sounds interesting.
was painful because red pigments. I'm guessing you get it with the color, the pencils. Red pigments have that little bit stronger staining ability, even
Mm-hmm.
though it's one of the first colors to bleach.
Mm-hmm.
It lifted quite well, even though
Oh,
I
thank
messaged
goodness.
the customer. I'm like, I'm so sorry, and they're just all, oh, I didn't notice it. All
Oh,
that
good.
for nothing.
Yeah, don't tell them you did the mistake unless they say something.
Oh, it's like, oh, okay. Oh, that's just for nothing. Why did
Oh,
I have like sleepless and stressful times when you're just like, oh, yeah, I can't see it.
no, I feel that sometimes as well when I've done a commission or something, and I feel like, I normally only send it out like, if I'm 100% happy with it.
Yeah.
But there are just some like, niggling things like, oh, should I work on it a bit longer? Or should I have, stopped several layers ago? Or, that kind of thing. And then you send it like, I always send a picture to the client
Yeah.
first so they can approve it before I send it to them. And it's just so like, whoo, when they say, oh, it's fantastic, I love it. You're like, oh, thank goodness.
That weight off my shoulder has happened.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's like, oh, I'm so pleased.
I had that, like, it's normally the ones with time crunch too. And like, oh, I really need it for this date. Okay. And then the more you paint, like, what's happening? Do I start over? This is not. Oh my goodness! I keep on bumping this.
Yeah, that's all right. I do that all the time too.
It's always the ones with time crunches that always you're like, oh my goodness, this isn't working right. The pencils aren't deciding to pencil. For me, my brushes have decided to go in retirement. What do I do? And then they're all like, oh my god, it's perfect. It's like, oh, I'm so glad you didn't see the stress behind it.
Yeah. That's the thing, because nowadays you have to like record all of your artwork, right? Instead of just take a picture at nice stages. And I just feel like it adds to the stress somehow.
That you have to make sure that you have time to stop, take photos, take footage.
Yeah.
Then do it, and then
You sort of like get in with the flow and stuff, and like it was so much easier in the day. Yeah. It was easier in the day where you could just leave a camera on and do a time lapse. Because then you can just forget about the camera and just leave it running as you're drawing and painting.
And people would find that interesting, but now people are like, I'm done with that. What else?
Yeah. It's like, oh no. But I liked doing that.
It is interesting, like, seeing what people like on social media. I had one viral video of just my brushes, and then post a video like finishing a portrait. It's like, oh, okay, a couple of thousand. okay. Like, it's a weird world right now trying to get out there.
Yeah, it's definitely tricky. It's why it's good to try and like not rely, I think, on social media to make your money.
Yeah.
More, it's more of like a way of being out there and showing what you're doing, but you're not relying on it for gaining clients because I think it's just with the algorithms, it can be very unpredictable.
Oh, it is, yeah, bonkers. So when did you
Yeah.
start doing like pet portraits and all
Oh, I
this
feel old.
fun?
It was like 8 years ago now.
8 years ago, and look at you. Like,
Yeah.
there's proof in the pudding, but yeah, you probably would have seen all the different changes, the different trends.
Yeah, definitely. Because I remember when I first, because I used to do videos actually quite a lot of like, I called them finishing touches videos.
Yeah.
And it was when you're like putting like the finishing whiskers or something on it. And those did so well on Facebook. And now people seem to hate videos on Facebook. Well, they do on my page anyway. Like I get no comments or anything. But they love
You're like,
pictures. So it's just trying to understand what platform people like certain things, and it can change. So you just need to keep that in mind when you're doing
yeah,
it.
yeah. I just, these days I'm like, I'm not, sounds really weird. I'm not creating content for others. I'm creating the content for me.
Mm.
Like, the way that I see it as my Instagram is a portfolio, like,
Yeah.
and almost like I have a mentor, and she said to me, present your Instagram as it's a dinner party and you're inviting guests to it. What are they going to see? And
Mhm.
yeah, I need to show my customers the real me because that's who they're going to be talking to. And
Yes, exactly.
why pretend to be someone else when I want to attract the same people with the same energy that I have?
Hmm.
It's,
No, that's good. That's a good way of seeing it
yeah,
because
how am I going
it's
to attract those people?
it's easy to get sucked in, isn't it? And feel like, so I definitely do that sometimes as well. It's like, oh, but I've got all these followers and they're not seeing it. And you just can get frustrated and, why isn't it working? And then one day it does work and you're like, oh, well, that's how you do it. And then you try it again the next day, it's like, and it doesn't work. It's like, oh,
Give me, give me something, please.
yeah.
That's how
It's like, oh, I
it
thought I
honestly
nailed
feels.
this.
Like, oh yeah, I got that viral video. Let's do another one. Oh, okay, that video just oh, okay. It's even
Yeah.
the word of TikTok. I feel like I'm late to TikTok.
I feel like you just have to use social media what it's for, which is to be social. So
Yeah.
like what we're doing now, we're using it to have a live and a chat and like just hang out. And I think that's what you just need to use social media for is just networking and chatting to people and just being social.
Yeah. And I think that's the one good thing about social media is that we can now, like, you're in the UK,
Yeah.
I'm in Australia. Like, back then it would have been pigeons.
Send you little drawings and buy a pigeon.
I am up to this bit on the eyeball. I am up to this bit. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
done now. Oh, pigeon's dead.
I was done like months ago.
Here's the photo of the pigeon. Oh,
Oh, that's so funny. Do you find watercolor to be quite a fast medium then?
I find it quite slow
Mhm.
because it. I'm guessing that you get it the same. There's so much to build upon.
Yes, all the layers, isn't it?
It's it's the layers, like, you can't fast track them. Like, looking at this eye, I'm like, oh my goodness, there's all these different yellows, all
Mm.
these different variations of
But I
yellows. And I
I feel
guess
like it's
that's
harder for you watercolor because it dries a different color than you put it on, no? So
yeah,
how do you know what color you're using? That's what I want to know. Please tell me.
I guess. But literally, like, I had that thought the other day of like, I'll quickly show my palette. Like, that's what my palette looks like, and I'm just like, I'm lit. It sounds really. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
I'm literally guessing, and I think that's what I love about it. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is quite late. Not really late. It's like 9:18 p.m. in Australia. So I just had dinner. I got my cup of tea. I used to paint this late when I was working and painting, but now I've got the luxury of not
Painting earlier.
painting earlier, painting in my pajamas. I think, like, how many of us artists would be like, yeah. Sometimes I paint or pack orders in pajamas. So I'm very guilty of that.
Well, you can do that when you work from home, can't you?
Oh, I can, but sometimes it surprises me when I've got a customer picking up their order and I forget and I'm in my pajamas.
Oh no! Oh hi.
Oh, sorry. But then also that's me. I am honestly so impressed with these books that you
Oh, you
have
like
created.
it?
I love it. Like, my grandfather came over and I showed him, like, look what I've got. I'm so excited for this. And he's like, but why did you get it? I'm like, it's like my own personal development thing. Like, 100% will be using and practicing a lot the poodles. I don't know about you, but I hate curly haired dogs.
There's definitely a tactic to it,
Oh,
yeah.
and I don't get them enough that it's like, I say I probably will have a whole lot now. I don't get a lot in a row for it to be really in my brain. And then the moment I get it, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. And then it's almost like retraining yourself. And it's, you've got one in here and it's a red, the red poodle,
Yes.
I want to say.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm glad
that's,
that nobody's asked to do that live yet.
oh. I'll be watching that live when you do it.
Oh no.
Next
I might
time.
just turn that one into a tutorial. I think that
Yeah.
would be better.
Yeah, where you can just be like, oh, I'm doing this over a couple of days.
Yeah.
Do you
But
have
they
a...
haven't been taking me too long, actually. They've been all right. About, I'd say, up to 2 hours maximum for these.
Okay. I guess it also depends on like what detail that you want to focus. Like me right now, I'm really focusing on the eye and the veins, while you're going more for the hair. You keep on.
Yeah.
Like, every now and then when I look up, I'm like, oh, you're up to there.
No, I've honestly been like using this book myself as a way of getting quicker because now that I have a kid, like I don't have as much time as I used to. So I want to be, as good, but quickly,
But
you
efficient.
know?
I like that.
Yes.
And yeah.
So that's what I've been mainly using this book for.
Oh, I love that. And like when you suggested to me using the paper rather than going straight on it, that's going to be really helpful when you be like, oh, today I really need to practice those curls again. I really need to practice those curls. And even practicing in different colours. Do you have
Yeah,
a
definitely.
breed of anything that you loathe when you get an
Do I have a
order?
breed that
Or do you
I
not?
don't know. No, it's more that the problem I have is that I like a challenge.
Yeah.
So the more complicated it is, the more I like it.
More,
That's my issue.
the
So
more
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, give me 10 multicolored poodles. I will be very excited. That's what I quite I also really like it when I get a customer ask me to do a drawing from like several reference photos and like add them all together and like they don't even have the reference photo that they want. I feel like that's a really cool challenge because it gives me a bit of, I guess, artistic license to come up with a really nice composition for them using their pictures, and it's a little bit more exciting than just sort of being a photocopier. So I do actually prefer the more complicated stuff.
I love everyone asks me like, oh, do you must hate painting white pets? And I love painting white pets. It's the black. It's black that actually challenges me.
Oh, really?
I
I
think
feel like black's so much easier. Why do you struggle with black?
there's so many variations, but I'll show you like on my palette that I made here. I'm on the black. Like to me, this is really blue black when I need it to be brown black. It's a really interesting thing, and black is really hard to layer up because then it starts getting pasty.
Oh, I
Versus
see.
versus with white, I'm using washes of color where sometimes it's a green wash if it's like if you can clearly see the dog's been in grass, or like Maltesers where they've got that true red wash around their mouth. Yeah, I love painting white pets because you get a little bit more freedom, I guess, with the watercolor.
Do you use the paper a lot with white pets then and have the paper as the colour, or do you cover the whole paper still?
I do use the paper a lot. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I use the paper, but a lot of the times it will be like the backing, almost how you do the pastel, and then build up on it. So lots of greys. Although I still use white watercolor, that's still not the white. Like for my card series, I painted a Japanese Spitz and a white cat, and that was really fun. Because again, different whites. It was I love those. I love those changes. Oh, I'm also excited in your book. There's fish. There's pastel. There's fish.
Are you going to try that next then?
Yes, I have painted a fish. And do I have them with me? You would like. This is one thing that I don't think you can get in pencils. I've got these beautiful handmade.
Oh wow!
Shimmer watercolor.
Oh, it's so beautiful. So this is why I wish I could do watercolor.
And these ones are multi-chrome. Like,
what brand are those?
These are handmade. They're called Shimmer Drops. She's based in Australia.
Oh,
so they're all handmade.
Gosh,
she mulls them herself.
So nice.
Oh, and they smell like clove because she uses that to preserve, like the preservative in it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm excited to do with the fish, and just add those tiny little details that will just
elevate that will look amazing. Yeah, that's going to look so amazing.
And then you'll want to do watercolor.
Yeah. I would like to try, but I'm also very scared.
Don't be. It is honestly so much fun. I think it's just letting the brush do and not fight. Like that's one thing.
Yeah, so give me some beginner tips then.
Don't be frightened.
Okay.
Not a lot of water. I don't use a lot of water.
Okay.
Half the time I've got a tissue near me and I like dab it off, or like you'll always hear me like wiping it against my jar.
Is that so like it doesn't bleed too much or something?
Yeah. So then I can have more control, because I think that's one thing I see a lot of watercolor artists and they do big washes, and the washes are really watery.
Right.
And then they paint on top of that, and that's when you don't have the control over the paint. And that's when it like starts to go. I could probably use that technique here. So like you flood it a bit. So imaginary painting. And then add the paint, and you can see how the paint just sort of goes on its own little thing, and then it creates those harsh borders sometimes. So yeah, it's a really interesting thing.
Oh, definitely.
I feel like pencil, like my thoughts of pencil, like, I just get so annoyed at the pencil not being sharp enough all the time.
Oh, really? Then you
Or not.
should get one of these.
Oh.
I love this sharpener so much. It's a really heavy brass sharpener, and it's just fantastic. I use it all the time. I've got my little tabletop bin, and just sharpen in there. Sort of, yeah. I haven't emptied it in the 2 years that I've been using it. You've got my little in the key.
I feel like when you fill that up, you need to put resin in it.
Yeah, like, it would look quite cool, wouldn't it?
A trophy of your sharpening. But I think that's really good for how much you haven't sharpened.
I guess because I use I've got every pencil.
Yeah.
So I just go through them, and I don't need to sharpen them that often, I guess, because I use so many, like I keep switching so much, you know what I mean? And also it's not normally like a couple of turns anyway, so.
Yeah. Because you're constantly using it. Have you found that like a colour that you haven't matched? Or have you been able to match just about every single colour or blend?
There are some things like that you get with, like, I don't know, maybe tabby cats. They've got this sort of like brown, ochre, greeny colour that can be quite hard to match. But then I have actually found, I think this is actually quite a good colour for it. It's called earth green. And this is just such a good undertone for stuff. But like, you wouldn't necessarily know unless you try them all out. And then Karen Dash came out with a new colour a couple of years ago called what is this? Middle verdigris. I can't even read that. And this actually has been so useful. I've been using it quite a lot. It's getting shorter and shorter. So
that's a nice nail colour for you.
Yeah, it's really lovely. It's sort of like minty green, isn't it?
Yeah, I love that.
I've been using this quite a lot as well. So I don't know. I also think that sometimes if it's not exactly like the colour in the picture, that's okay. Because it's sort of like your interpretation. Because again, we're not photocopiers, we're artists. We're trying to get the overall look and feel, and especially when it's a pet, we're trying to get the personality and the character and the life. And I don't think it necessarily matters that that's not the exact yellow or that's not the exact green. It's just meant to be sort of what it is in that picture. Because also they change color in the sunlight, they change color in, in the house. Like the cat and the dog and, pets are always looking slightly different colors anyway when you see them in real life. So I don't think it's that important to get the exact color.
Yeah. That reminds me, I need to send you a photo afterwards.
Okay.
Of a customer who sent me a photo and be like, oh, can you use this as a reference? You'll just laugh. It's hilarious.
Okay.
The pet wasn't in focus at all. Because like what you're saying about colour, like if they're in focus, I've got a tuxedo cat, but in the sunlight, he's this like the
so
only
it's
way
quite
I can describe it is he's almost like Marmite or Vegemite colour. He's black, but he's got that brown undertone that only sunlight can catch.
Yeah, I always love pets in sunlight. I always ask my customers, "Can you have a picture of them in the sunlight?" Because it does shine differently, and I feel like you can capture a lot more different depths of colour.
You get the true colours, I reckon, in the sunlight, and better detail. That's always the hardest. I'm guessing you get the same with memorial pieces when it is an older photo, and it's not like you can ask for more. You can just piece got, and you just want to, like, I find memorials are the hardest because you want to do the best possible for them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just wanting to make it look like them, but they're like, oh, can you add more detail? And it's like, oh, yeah. And then it's that guessing game of like, okay, if I was detail, where am I?
I guess that's where the knowledge of anatomy and just generally research as well really comes in handy.
And practice.
Yeah.
Yes,
lots and lots of practice.
Yeah. So I think that's one thing I realized I've forgotten. Like, even though I paint a lot and I paint a lot of people's pets, I forget to personally practice.
And same.
Because I was thinking, oh, keep on hustling, keep on painting.
No, because I literally made this book for myself, and I thought, well, maybe other people might want something like this, since I've really needed something like this, because I just wanted to have a chance to try out different paper, try out different techniques, try out different mediums, and I just never really find the time because I'm always doing commissions.
Yeah.
And so I thought, oh, why don't I just do like little squares of stuff? So it started off as like, my idea was just like a sheet of paper basically, of like different parts of fur, and then just try those out. And I thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool to like do the, the rule of 100, where you do something 100 times and then, you're a master at it kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, why not? My husband was like, oh, why don't you do a book of 100 pictures? It's like, oh, okay, a book of 100 pictures. And now that Amazon can like print, I thought, okay, I'll do a book for myself. That would be really cool. I thought, oh, might as well, see if other artists need it. And it's just blown up. I mean, people really, really love this idea. And I'm just so happy that I could be the one to share it with people and make something that people enjoy.
It's helpful. Whether you are starting out or this is your 632,000th portrait. And you just realize that you haven't painted an annoying poodle in a while, and you've just seen the headache of the curls, and you're going, okay, I need to just spend an hour looking at these curls in the book rather than looking at the customer's curls.
But yeah, I think it's just so helpful.
It's amazing. The thing that you think, oh, I should do this for myself, has become something that people go, wow, I actually need that. I need this in my life to assist. And yeah, with the fact that Amazon, like, this book was printed in Sydney.
That's so cool, all the way from the UK.
All the way from your brain to the UK. Here.
Yeah.
What? From something.
No, it's very cool.
And I like your idea, and I think I'm going to start practicing that. Not timed as in pressure, but timed as in, okay, I've got an hour, let's work on this cat's nose, because I know that there's features that I've either spent too long on it or overthought for too much over in one piece. So I think this will be good to really refining and controlling, I guess. Not controlling, I'm just trying to figure out the right word of like just ensuring that the quality is the same, but giving myself that time and precision still.
Yes, definitely. And I also have come up with there's the British Wildlife edition of this now, and it's filled with British wildlife ones. Have you not seen it yet?
No, I need to.
Yeah, look. This is the British wildlife one. So like,
an Australian one?
Oh, I could do.
I think you should.
It's not on my list right now, but it will be for the future.
We've just done possums, and we've got possums here.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, well, that is actually for a client in Australia, so.
I think we need to do, yeah.
Yeah. okay, it will be on my list for the future, but right now I've got 10 others that I'm working on. So,
Oh my goodness.
because I've just released the florals edition. So if you're interested in practicing flowers
Yeah, I
and
think that's another
greenery
one.
and raindrops and dewdrops on petals and all that kind of stuff, that's all in the florals edition. And then I'm currently working on the African wildlife one.
Ooh.
Elephants and giraffes and lions and all that kind of stuff. I'm very excited about because I've literally never drawn any of this ever, and it's been really fun because I draw the covers myself. So all of the ones on the cover are my
Yeah.
drawings. So it's been nice to sort of practice and have that on the cover as like just to show what's possible for the book. So I've been doing that for the African wildlife one, and then I've got a human portrait one coming out. So if you want to practice human portraiture,
I would get that, but I don't know about you, but humans scare me. Human portraits scare me. I don't know, like there's just something about human portraits that I'm just like, nah.
Have you done much of it?
I have done one portrait, and it was a side profile with a dog and its owner.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily it was quite easy, but gosh, nah. I will never advertise that I do humans. They just, I don't know, there's just something about it. No. Oh, what about you? Have you done humans?
Yes, I've done quite a lot actually. I really like it. I used to do it all the time for my friends at school, because I didn't have any money or anything when you're at school. And I used to just draw a portrait of them and give it to them for their birthday. Like that was just all I did. So like all my friends had years of portraits of themselves, or like a portrait of us together and that kind of thing.
I think you're born in the wrong year. Maybe back in the Renaissance or back when you'd be surely drawing the kings and queens. For sure.
Oh, thanks. Then I could be a kept woman.
With your
paint all day.
What? But how bizarre! She has a job and she paints.
No.
Yeah, I'd like.
I think I'm born in the perfect year, actually, especially with social media,
where we love our pets crazily.
Yes,
and people love their pets equally as crazily as I
do. Do you have pets then?
I've got 2 cats.
Oh, lovely.
They are absolutely bonkers. They're 2 boys.
Uh-huh.
And I love them to pieces, and they tolerate me with my tolerate you. What about you?
Tell me more about your cats. Like, what breed are they?
I'll just quickly. Oh, it's fine. I still got my remote. I've got my boy. So I got Boy, and he's an ex-stray. So he used to live in our backyard, and then we coached him in. We showed him that humans are nice, and now he's domestic as can be. He will cry for food. He will beg for him. He loves being tucked up in bed. He is a squish. So this is Boy. I've actually got him on cards.
Oh, he's beautiful.
He's an 8-kilo cat.
Wow.
He's a big boy.
Oh, he's lovely.
Oh, I love him to pieces. And then I say recently, it's been 2 to 3 years, recently adopted this one, and that one's Percy, who likes to paint with me.
Oh, so cute.
He's a typical tuxedo. They miss brain cells a bit.
Uh-huh.
He loves dogs. Like, he'll actually run after the dogs in our street. He plays with them. He's missing brain cells, but I love him at the same time.
Oh, he's so sweet. Has he got green eyes?
Yeah, green, like that. I think it's almost that colour that you're showing, that
Yeah.
greeny.
Yeah, this one. So this would be a good colour for you if you
Yeah.
wanted to draw him in colour pencil.
Ugh. I think if I was gonna, yeah, I always practice with my pets first. Um,
Yeah,
I feel like I should
it's
get
very
like a pencil,
handy.
but also I'm like,
Now stick to your watercolour.
it's a
It's
water.
lovely and unique, and I'm just loving how this eye is progressing. It's just so interesting to see it develop.
I'm like, I keep on looking at yours. I'm like, ooh, because normally I leave eyes to the last bit of the
Uh-huh.
portrait.
Do you?
Um,
That's funny.
if they go through that freaky stage of like, ooh, like you don't look right. But then the moment I finish the eyes, I'm like, oh yep, painting's done. I can scan it in, send it off.
So why do you like to do the eyes last?
I think because I can clean my palette. Um, I've never actually like. I don't think there's a reason why I do it last. It's just been habitual.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then it varies. So when I was doing the white cat, yeah, white cat, I actually did her eyes first,
Mm-hmm.
and then built around the eyes because being white, I wanted actually something to look at while painting.
Yes,
Um,
okay.
but yeah, not only with the eyes, I think because they're just such a treat. Uh, like almost they are my dessert,
Oh,
I guess.
I see.
And I
That's very
just love how
interesting.
yeah, they can just transform. So you start with the eyes.
Yeah. Again, for that sort of same reason, like they're my favorite part to do. So I like to do it first. I don't want to wait till the end. I want to do it
I don't
now.
want my dessert after food. I want them afterwards. That's
So yeah, I always do the eye first. And then I feel like I've got a focal point
yeah.
to develop because I always start from the eyes, and then the nose, and then sort of like spread out from there with the fur.
This is
Um,
weird. I do backwards.
that's so funny.
Oh, oh. I do fur, and then either ears, if it's like the cavalier, ears,
Hmm.
nose, then eyes, or sometimes nose, ears, eyes. But that's really weird.
Yeah, that's weird how you did the complete opposite.
And I've noticed I do it a lot, like so many other people, another artist, I'm not sure if you know her, Caitlin Grace Art. She's
Hmm.
another pencil artist. She does it back. Oh, well, I do it backwards. She does it technically the right way, like you, like eyes,
There's no
nose.
right way.
Oh, I love seeing how people work. It's almost like being at
Mm.
markets. Seeing clay is one of those awesome things that makes me go, wow. It's the fact
Oh,
that it's
yeah.
the same mud, same particles of glass and materials and all that, and then you
Hmm.
put it under high temperature and it all turns out different.
Yes.
I yeah, and that's what I love. Like running a market, being at a market, just seeing all the different materials, like same materials but different uses. It's amazing what our brains are able to do.
Mm. Sometimes even the same materials with artists, like, I've done color pencil drawings with other color pencil artists, and it always looks different. And specifically the other artist's style, like you can just tell who's
Yeah,
drawn what. And I find that so interesting.
and it's refreshing. That's what
Mm.
I find. It's really refreshing because you don't want to know that like there's a reason why people go for you. There's a reason
Yeah.
why they capture. Like I was watching some of your reels, and like holy moly, using the pastels really captures those undertones. Like that really does it. Versus some people, they don't use that. They just like do a whole lot of layering with the strokes. And it's like, wow, it's amazing what, again, same materials used differently can create the same outcome. And that's what I'm really looking forward to seeing, the difference in these eyes.
Definitely.
Is that it's same reference, two artists.
I'm
going to claim that 2 different time zones makes it different as well.
Yes. We're literally across the world from each other during a scene. It's actually kind of magical, you know. I find it's just so cool to like be able to. We've both got the same book and we're drawing the same thing, and you know we're worlds apart, and it's just very exciting.
Like when I talk to my family's actually from England, and my
Oh yeah.
she'd be like, "Oh yeah, we're off to the pub now," and I'm like, "Wait, if it's this time here, how is it that time? Why are you going to a pub now?" It's, "Oh, because I can." Okay, yep, okay. Because you can, I guess. So
yes. That's funny.
But that's what I love about the fact that you can go on a TikTok live and people are, "Oh yeah, I'm watching it from France." What? Like, I would never thought, like, back, I'm just trying to think, like MSN was probably the closest to travel chatting when I was younger.
But I only talk to my friends though.
Yeah.
That I saw at school. Like, I saw you an hour ago, but how are you doing?
That is, yeah, like, oh, I just literally saw you, but how are you going? What are you doing?
Yeah.
And now, perfectly, 2 strangers can talk to each other on social media, catch up. What?
And learn. I'm learning so much from you about watercolor. I'm very tempted to try. I do have a set of watercolors. I've got these Winsor and Newton ones.
The black
Is that
tin?
good?
Oh, I love
No,
Winsor Newton.
yeah.
It's always like, I found out so many things, like going to the art shop. I never realized. So there's a brand called Rembrandt.
Oh yes, Rembrandt, I think.
They are the higher quality of, I not sometimes use the Van Gogh watercolor paint, and they were telling me this has half of the pigment of this brand. So this is like the not cheaper version, but it's like the next level down. Versus same with Winsor and Newton. So I use Winsor and Newton white, and some of the other ones. Do I actually have it here? Maybe they've got Cotman. Winsor and Newton owns them, and they have just a little bit less pigment dense than what Winsor and Newton have. So I love chatting with people.
Yeah. Oh, it's very interesting because I don't really know much about watercolor paint. I just bought the Winsor & Newton because I love Winsor & Newton as a brand.
Yeah.
Like I always used to use their paper and you know anything else they have. So I just bought their watercolor set without really knowing, you know, if it's in it actually any good or not.
What's in it? I find their paints are quite beautiful. They're nicely mulled. So one thing I've learned, I've dabbled in making my own watercolor.
Oh, have
is
you?
You sort of grind it extra on glass. So you have like this glass muller, and you grind it, and that's what can assist in the binding of the binder. Oh my god, the great explanation, Annalise.
Yes, it is. Keep going.
Just like you bind it with the binder, so it's like distilled water. What the other thing? Ox skull. And you mull it, and it's the granulation is what they look for. So when you're mixing it, is the granulation when you test it out? How smooth is it? And I think Winsor & Newton's got the smoothest look to the finished product. But then again, it's all how you use it. It's almost that camera theory. You can have an expensive camera, but it doesn't mean you're going to take great photos.
Hmm. Oh no, I understand that. I've got I got a new camera to take to do the videos for my tutorials, and I feel like I have no idea how to use it. Like I've looked up instructions and YouTube videos, and it's just like, oh, it's
I'll
too
just do it
many
on my phone.
settings.
I'll
Yeah,
just do it on my
there's just too
phone.
many settings.
How exciting. So this is on
Yeah.
your Learn My Craft website, the
Yes.
tutorials.
Yeah, so I'm slowly going through this book currently and turning them into tutorials. Um, so there's like new tutorials every week,
That's fun.
and mainly in color pencil and pastel because I know a lot of people have been asking me how I use the pastel with the color pencil. And I'm not really like a color pencil purist. Like I can do it with just pencil. But I do prefer the pastel because I think it just gives it another dimension of color and it makes the process a bit quicker. So you can just do like, because the tutorials are only about like an hour and a half maximum.
Yeah.
So again, it's just like a quick little thing. It's not like a 20-hour tutorial, 18-hour tutorial of like, a giant thing that you might never actually finish. It's just like a little eye or a little nose
Yeah.
and I think it's a bit more helpful to have the bite size learning, I guess, in that way, because then people can who are busy and just want to learn how I do a specific technique or how to do a specific, like, nose or eye. They can just put the tutorial on and watch how I did it in an hour and then it's done. So, you know what I mean?
And then it's sort of, I think, yeah, showing that you can do it in an hour, it sort of gives you like, okay, when you're painting, like, don't spend your whole hour, no, you're not whole hour, your whole day focusing on the nose. This shouldn't be 100% a
Mm.
total takeover. Like, when do you call it quits on the nose? When do you call it quits on any part? And yeah, that's part of the learning, I think. I'm
Yeah,
not sure
and
about
you
you,
do
but
get faster the more you practice. I think if you're new to any medium, even with color pencil, I might take an hour, but somebody else might take 2 hours. And that's just because you're learning.
yeah,
Um, Somebody might take only half an hour to get to the stage that I do in an hour. So everybody's different and everybody has a different style and technique that might take them longer or a shorter amount of time. That's the beauty of it, isn't it? So
I just love the way
it's just,
that you use the pastels, because it is almost like the way that I can use a wash. Like,
uh,
it's not using it as the main focus, but it's used as something to just
mm.
fluff it, almost like it's a nice smooth coloring technique.
Yeah, it's sort of like I'm just coloring, blocking in the colors, coloring the paper, so my pencils can just concentrate on everything else rather than just filling a block color, if you get what I
Yeah,
mean. 'Cause it
and
just
I
takes
guess
so long to do that.
yeah. Does that save the do you think it saves your pencils a bit, if that makes sense?
Mm, I guess so. I never really thought about that,
Like
to be
you've done that
honest.
initial, because we were talking about like the sharpenings. Does it
Yeah,
assist in the longevity of your brushes? No, not your brushes.
my pencils.
Your pencils. Me
It
looking at my
definitely
paint.
doesn't save like black and white because like this is my white. I've ordered a new white. It's coming. I hope it comes soon. This is my other white.
Put me out of my misery.
These are my whites that I'm using right now. So I hope the postman comes in the next few days to save me. But like, so I guess it doesn't save certain colours that you use all the time.
Yeah.
Uh,
I love
It just depends on the portrait as well.
it's like, mother save me. Help me.
They're cute, aren't they?
Oh, they are cute. Like,
So this is really good.
people
You
would
can still
actually,
sharpen
oh my goodness.
it.
Do you get hand cramps from it being that small?
I do sometimes put them in the pencil extender. So here's my black in the pencil extender.
I didn't know that
You
was a
see
thing.
my black. So I've got a few of these.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Why did I never not know about pencil extenders?
They're very good. These are the Derwent ones. You can get two for £8.70, I think, on Jackson's for those in the UK. Probably get it on Amazon too. But I like the Derwent ones because they're like a soft grip. They do get a bit muddy, but they're a soft grip metal pencil. The luminance pencils sort of fit in, like it doesn't screw all the way down, but you just need to screw it enough that it's not going to pop out as you're colouring. So no, these are really great if you need pencil extenders.
A cool invention.
It is. Do you have any like cool tools that you use with watercolor?
Not really. Just I've got like brush cleaners. That's as exciting as
Oh, I love that brand. That's a good brush cleaner brand, isn't it?
I really need it. I call it like taking my girls to the salon. They really need a good salon trip. They've been hard working. Like last time I took them, that sounds weird. Last time I cleaned them was just after Christmas when I went on a Christmas break, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going through my brushes a little bit too quickly. You need to go to the salon. You need to have your hair done.
That's so funny. I am terrible at cleaning brushes. That's the good thing about pencils. I don't have to clean anything. I hate cleaning brushes.
It takes time, but it's so therapeutic when there's like getting the points shaped and there's just something
okay, so you like it then.
I hate cleaning my makeup brushes and I just like that, so I don't wear makeup anymore.
Just so you don't have to clean the brushes.
So I'm like, I have to clean brushes for work, I have to clean it here, I'm not doing it anywhere else. Yeah.
Oh, we've almost run out of time.
Oh no.
We'll do it in a few more minutes, I'd say.
A few more minutes. So I'll get the black on so it looks more eyeball-like.
Oh, it's looking so good. I love these subtle colour variations you've got in there. It properly looks like an eyeball.
And it's brushes. I've got my new love of this brush. It's 20 out of 0, 20. So it's like, I don't actually know how many hairs there are. Like, I want to say there's 3. It really allows, like, in the most veiny sections to get those small veins, to get those tiny whiskers.
Oh, that sounds very satisfying.
There's nothing worse when you do a whisker and it's, especially with brushes, it's thick and you're like, I just ruined the whole artwork.
Oh, it's the same when I haven't sharpened my pencil enough and I go in to do a whisker and it's just a bit too thick and clunky looking. It's like, oh no.
You can use the blade. I love this whole blade thing. I'm like, how can I use it in watercolor? Pack it on.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you can. I don't know if it would ruin the paper or not. You definitely have to wait till the paper's dry.
And I feel like you'd have to, it would only work on black pets maybe. There's lots of pigment. How much do you have to build it upon?
I find quite a lot actually to make a difference.
Yeah, a good scrapage.
Yeah, otherwise it doesn't really do very much.
Oh, my biggest fear, imagine like doing all that work and then being like scratch and actually cuts through the artwork.
Yeah.
Oh, no, my mum would watch me and jinx me and then the artwork would be done.
I remember the first time I saw, I think it was a Kirsty Partridge YouTube video, and she was using a knife. So this was before Slice Tool came out. So this is a ceramic blade, but she was using a Stanley knife, which is a metal blade, to do fine hairs. And I thought, oh my goodness, I cannot do that. I'm just so scared that I'm going to cut through my paper. And then this tool came out and it's so much better because it's also rounded edge as well. So it's not actually sharp.
Ah, okay. So
and it's just, yeah, so it feels a bit more secure. Like like it is sharp here. Like if you really pushed into your paper, you could cut it, but it's not like a metal Stanley knife blade.
Yeah, that would just scare me, and yeah. Although I still want to try. So one of those scary things, like, oh, I still want to try.
Yeah, well, that's what you can use this book for. Give it a go.
Not to cut. Yeah, especially
through the book.
The ear one up. Not cut through the book. I will
Yeah.
always be making my tiny little squares.
Yeah. No, I quite like that I can cut up my own paper because then I can try out different papers because I got like a whole drawer full of paper of like different brands, and now I can finally like go through them and try them out and stick little squares in this book.
And then you can go, no, do not recommend this paper. This paper's good. No,
yeah.
Do you write on the? I'm like thinking almost passport like. Do you write on the back what paper you've used or any other annotations?
I probably should, but no. At the moment, I remember, so. But I'll probably forget at some point. But at the moment, I remember it. Like I remember almost every name for every pet that I've drawn.
Oh, isn't that weird when you do that?
Yeah, and it's like I don't even know my own number, and I can memorize 300 pet names.
I have that. Like I've got doing a market. People will be passing me the cards. I'm like, oh, you've given me Jimmy, Crumpet, this, and they just look at me like I've lost my mind because I'm just saying random names. But I'm like, oh no, like turn around the card. On all my cards, I've got their own little bio.
You've got their names. Oh, that's sweet.
A little thing, because most of the time I'm like, oh yeah, my dog likes balls too. My dog likes to run and snuggle up to me. So it's quite nice. And yeah, when they pass it to me, like, oh, you got blah blah blah, they always look at me with a face until I explain to them, oh, it's like when you flip it over, you'll see it on the back. It's actually someone's pet, and then they always get surprised. So I'm always like, why would I have all these pets lying around?
Yeah.
I don't want to keep all these portraits. I never actually realised, I haven't done a proper count of how many portraits I've done painting for 5 years. I don't want to know. I feel like I'll be scared of the number. I'll either be shocked or like, ooh, that's lower than I thought, or that's higher than I thought. Have you done
them all on a folder on my computer. So all I did was just highlight all the pictures, and it tells you how many things you've highlighted. That's the only reason I know. Otherwise, I wouldn't bother counting. It's just too many.
How many scans? Because that's one thing I've started to do, scanning in my artwork for the customer.
Oh, good. Yeah.
It just changes it because I was playing around with the light. And it's always hard when you want to take a photo to give, like, before posting it off, to just get that final check. And the light just doesn't do it justice. Like, I promise you, it's not this dark, or it's not this weird color. I promise you, it's better than this. And yeah. And then it just allows you to do those small details of, oh, you want cards, you want this.
Definitely. And it's your portfolio, isn't it? Because you don't get to keep the real thing. So I think it's so good to scan in all of your artwork before you send it. And then that's part of, your portfolio of pets and portraits and your examples. And then you can do stuff with it later, like you said, with cards and things. Which you can't really do if it's not high quality enough.
Yeah. That's one thing. Annoyingly scanning it at high quality, and the computer just goes, no, we're full now. You've scanned
this is why you need an external hard drive. I've got a desktop one, so that's got my 5 terabytes of portraits and videos and pictures, and Yeah. So if anything happens to that desktop drive, I'm screwed. But
Oh my.
it's very
Have
useful
you?
to have it all there.
I saw that you did a look back of your prices. Did you have like a look up back of like when you really first started, where you're like, wow.
I, I always think, I really first started from the first time that I sold a piece of artwork.
Yeah.
So that was, basically my first one, I'd say. Um, so I think from there, I'd say I was a professional artist, even though I wasn't full time yet. I was still like doing my
Yeah.
PhD. I'd say from then, that's when I started my pet portrait business without really even knowing it. And that's when I started working for myself.
I love that.
So it's quite nice to look back and see how far I've come and how much I've learned as well from it.
And when you go like, oh wow, I thought I was good back then, and what a 360. Like when people always ask me, oh, like say like at markets, and you probably get, oh, I wish I could do paint as good as you or draw as good as you. It's like, I didn't wake up one day and painted this. Like, this has been a lot of work. And by the way, I purchased this book, so you too can learn. I should start plugging that in for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
it's not something that you just wake up and you know.
Yeah. It's slightly what it's like when people like are struggling like with their art businesses and they're like, oh, how do I go full time? And I'm struggling to do it. And I've learned how to do it, which is why I know, because I put in the time and the effort to do online courses and read books and go to, marketing things. And then my first book that I ever wrote, called Art is My Career, How to Start an Art Business, was literally everything that I learned for like 4 years of being an artist. So it's slightly out of date on the social media front, I'd say, but everything else in it still applies. And it was literally everything that I learned. So then when I started getting requests about, oh, can you help me do this? And I don't know how to do this. I just kept saying, like, I've literally written it all down for you, color coordinated it, it got diagrams, everything. It can't be any better in the than like,
an audio book.
Yeah. Oh, it is an audio book as well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It comes in every format that you need. That's what the book is in. Kindle, PDF, hardback, paperback, audiobook, whatever you need. That's what the book is in. So if you want to grow your mainly a commission art business, it's all in there. Like, it's just everything that I've done and still doing. And I'm very proud of that book. It still sells every day on Amazon, so.
Oh, that'll just be nice, just to, And it's amazing those people are like, oh, but like, can't you just tell me something? No, like,
it's too long. That's the problem. Like, I would love to just tell people, but then I need hours and hours to write it all down, and then pages of Instagram messages, which is hence the book, because I have written it all down.
And people think it's just an easy solution. Like, oh yeah, just do this, and you'll be amazing. No, it's the amount of hard work, the trial, the errors, the simple learnings that happen. Like, how do you deal with customers that don't pay? I've learnt that the hard way, of making sure that customers have to pay a deposit before painting. Right?
See? And if you read my book before you started, then you wouldn't have had to learn the hard way. Because I've already learned the hard way, and now I'm telling you what to do and what not to do.
So anyone listening, buy the book, buy this book, and take deposits.
Yes, definitely. Always take a deposit. I personally always take full payment up front, because that's what my customers are happy to do. So
I just need to get that confidence. For me, it's just confidence.
It's all things that happen the more you do it.
Yeah. I'm 3 years behind you, so hopefully in three years' time I'll be doing 100% deposits.
Oh, we should probably stop now before Instagram cuts us off or something. But it's looking so good and it's so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Oh my! I'm just had to look up at yours. Wow.
Mine needs a lot more layers. It's a bit rough, but I've been enjoying trying to do a loose style. So
I love it though.
oh, thank you. I love yours. I really want to try watercolor now. You've convinced me.
Zoom it in.
Oh wow! I mean, look at that detail. Beautiful.
Thank you. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, please send me a picture of this when we're off the live.
I will.
I would love to have a picture. And thank you everybody for joining us and watching and asking questions. Sorry if I've missed any questions that anybody's asked, but thank you for joining us. And if you would like to get your hands on this book and draw along with me and anybody else that I do lives with, you can find it on Amazon or learnmycraft.com. It's called the Learn My Craft Practice Journal, and this is the Pet Portrait Edition. And if you can watch this live back and all the other lives at learnmycraft.com. And if you would like to do a live with me, then please DM me because it will be just so much fun. Thank you, Annalise. I hope you get some sleep.
Yeah, time for bed soon.
Yes.
Thank you so much. It's been so much fun.
Thank you. It's been wonderful. We have to do this again sometime.
Yes, we'll do the red curly one.
Oh no, don't you dare. We won't do this again. I mean, I'm joking.
I'll message you like, ready? Like, oh, sorry, live's not going ahead.
Oh. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. If you've enjoyed listening, remember you can watch this podcast with video and no ads at learnmycraft.com, where you'll also find animal art practice journals, books and tutorials to get you started. Hit subscribe and follow the podcast, and we'll see you next time.